Hey. Hello, everyone. This is another episode of the Suave House. We're going to have a different topic today, and we have a special guest, our co-host, Jeffrey. You already know me. My name is Rashad Avery, a.k.a. Rashad Suave. This is For the Record Podcast, a.k.a. Off or On the Cusp. Today, we're going to be talking about some various things. The main thing being what's going on in the black culture. Also, recently, we got word that a guy named Julio passed away. He got shot by his op. Okay, so we're gonna talk about touch on that a little bit, and also Malcolm X. Which we only can scratch the surface. I'm not gonna sit here and say that we're like experts on Malcolm X and the history of that, but he is kind of shunned from society, and we kind of want to touch on that a little bit and get you guys' opinion on that. But without further ado, so me and Jeffrey, we talked about this at the job. We worked together. The black people's mentality, and as far as the Julio thing, apparently the guy that killed him had been trying to kill him for 10 years. And what I wanted to touch on and discuss is how black people, we are doing what the elite want us to do. And that's cannibalize ourselves, kill ourselves off, and be in prison mentally. And the oppressor is so scared of us for whatever reason. I guess just because we're smart, we're strong-willed people. We're strong physically and mentally, that they want to keep us under their thumb, so to speak, for whatever reason. We can prosper if we join and configure together. And we are an oppressed people. I acknowledge myself. I'm generationally cursed. I feel like I'm generationally cursed, but I have reasons why.
Would you say those are my bad? Would you say like personal reasons, or just a little mixture of both?
I mean, personal reasons. Like, I'm gonna point out some things. Okay. What qualifies a person to be generationally cursed? Let me ask you this: do you feel like you're generationally cursed? And would you be able to recognize if somebody was generationally cursed? That's kind of hard.
Yeah, that is really hard to say. I'm not gonna say that my family hasn't had blessings in the generation that has allowed them to, like, for example, like my grandfather be able to build a house where we currently live at, so we're living in a family house, so I can say that's a blessing there. But if it wasn't for how black people were being oppressed in the military, during his time, how much further he could have been, we probably wouldn't be living in, for lack of better words, the hood. We probably have some, better land, like up north, you know what I'm saying, versus being in a somewhat heavily populated area with, African Americans that are, generationally cursed, that haven't necessarily had the resource. Well, they've had the resources to education, but not necessarily
The know-how
and understanding the importance of how education can influence your life as you get older. So I would say not being able to have that focus on the future and just living in the now could, be looked at as like a curse. Not necessarily having role models to show you where to go. I would say that's some curses, but it can also go, generational. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I've had some blessings in my family, but if it wasn't for, you know, the racism from the past, we'd probably be better off. Not saying that we haven't been generationally cursed, but things could have been better if it wasn't for like those racial tools in place back then.
Speaking of which, I did want to touch on two things before I forget. Abraham Lincoln, the South versus the North, and also the generational curses. Some of the things that we can point to in that regard is health, diabetes, COVID, just a weak immune system, high blood pressure. Some of these things are associated with black people. Mental illnesses.
You did say obesity too in that, right?
We can add obesity too. Whatever stigmas you think that are attached to black people, and I wanted to say because one reason why I feel like that is because, you know, if you look into the Bible, if you look into the Quran, all these different scriptures, they say that we're the generation that's paying for our ancestors' sins. We're the generation that's paying. I understand that. I can't speak for everybody, but for myself, I understand that I'm paying for my generation, for my ancestors' shortcomings, and this is, and I'm not saying it's just them. I pay for my sins as well. I take full accountability, and that's where I feel like there's the disassociation in the society in general, not just black people, but I'm gonna focus on black people and our credibility and how important accountability is. Now, getting back to Abraham Lincoln, the technical issues. I'm sorry. The North versus the South. See, the South was so they weren't
stuck in their ways.
They were stuck in their ways, and they weren't thinking, because eventually, black people was going to rebel. If the South, what the South had planned versus what the North had, or Abraham Lincoln wanted us to be controlled mentally, because if he can control us mentally, the body will follow the mind, right? That's a theory. So that was the initial plan. So of course the North won, and that's when their plan was activated on black people to control us mentally. How do they control us mentally? Think about the Constitution. It's a living, breathing document. Think about the Bible. It's a living, breathing document. They can change the Bill of Rights. They can change the Constitution. They change, and we've seen it. We've seen how they changed New King James Version, whatever different versions of the Bible that they come up with. New Testament. It's a living, breathing, and so as time has changed, or time has come along, then they've been able to change the rules of society. They're in control of everything, basically. And it's gotten to the point where we're killing ourselves. Hence, not only can they kill us and get away with it, that's why we hear so many stories about cops and killing black people. Maybe more recently they've been able to get they've been able to get in trouble about it, maybe lose their job, maybe get some jail time or whatever, but majority of the cases they get off pretty much. So not only can they kill us, and they setting it up, I guess, in a Project 2025 to where, if a cop kills a black person or anybody, I guess anybody, but mainly the black person, they get off, period. So keep that in mind. So they got that going, and we believe in the narrative. We believe in the message that is being put and disseminated out there as black people, because we hear the same thing over and over and over and over again. So they poison our society, but it's gonna come to a head. And we'll get to that later. But we're killing each other. We're killing each other. They're killing us. Everything is good. That's how they want it. I did want Mr. Jeffrey to touch on what his thoughts were about Julio and Malcolm X. And we talked about that before, and I want you guys to hear what he has to say about Malcolm X and his thoughts on Julio.
Well, as far as Julio, I can't necessarily say that I've listened to the artist too much, but rest in peace. But the problem about it that I see is a problem that's been happening for years, generations, and this is another one of those generational curses. And actually, speaking on Julio and Malcolm X, it's just our people plotting on each other for whatever reason, whether it be jealousy. Most of the times it is jealousy because,
Let me stop you real quick. Jealousy. Think about more recently Kendrick Lamar and Drake. Go ahead.
So, again, like jealousy because, he or even she getting more attention in whatever it is, whether it be the community, whether it be media, that can just bring out seeds of hatred itself, just based off the movie Malcolm X, and I will have to fact check some more information on that, but it was our own people, whether it was, contracted out by FBI agents to set up the whole situation, or it was Mr. Elijah Muhammad at the time, whoever, if our hands were in it, it just came back to that jealousy thing, even though he was just really trying to get peace for everybody, but he wanted the black community to come together so we could start having our own businesses, our own resources that we could, so we could be able to self-sustain ourselves, so we could actually really make America great. Leaving out again, so just for ourselves, because again, no disrespect to anybody, it seems most people that come into America, however the story goes with their great-great-grandfather only coming over with $20, they usually are able to sustain their generations that come after them. But for us, it's like every time a new baby is born, it's like we always have to build up. Like whenever we get out of school, we normally don't have anything to rely on. Either is we graduate, then we have to take care of our parents, but that's fine, but it's like we have to come out of our own pocket. They don't necessarily have anything that we could bring together for the most part. But not getting too deep on that. The Julio situation, the jealousy topic, it's a shame that we can't just come together, make our money, focus on making businesses or furthering our education. But just like you were saying, with the higher powers that be in America or just the world itself, all we want to do is chase drugs, get the fancy jewelry to make ourselves feel better than people. But with a rich man and a poor man, we all see the ground eventually. So we need to get out that mindset. And I can't say throughout the generations there hasn't been just African Americans that have always been in that mindset, because for like the Black Panther community, without picking up a book and just finding out for myself, a lot of the Black Panther members at the time, they were actually educated, they had degrees, and were coming together, making communities to protect themselves. But how white people at the time, they looked at it as a threat to their comfort, I guess you could say.
that's what I wanted to ask too. So why can't we have our own community in this society? I mean, we built this community. We've had sweat off our back. So why are we like always at the bottom of the totem pole?
There was like a study, or I'm not sure if it was a saying, but it was like a group of monkeys were together. They took out one monkey, and like the monkey that was taken out, he was used to doing things one way. When I guess that was like climbing up a ladder, and they were successful in that group to do it. But when he went to the second group, anytime the monkey was like seen climbing up the ladder, the monkeys in like group B would like beat him up. Did they know why? They don't know why. They were just used to doing it. So even though you have the police, you know, going around the neighborhood, and they're supposed to be for protection, but they really don't have to do anything because the horse is still running its course, like the Willie Lynch theory says. Our own people will tear us down before anybody else really have to put their hands in it. So I can't say that we don't have our own community, which is a lot of the communities that we have is the hood, but we could do a lot with what we have now. It's just if we don't have like the original Rothschilds mindset to turn in on ourselves and make something out of that, we'll always be spread out, beating up each other and just letting other people come and put their property and make money off of us. You know,
exploit us.
I love Asian people. I love a lot of people, but I cannot deny the fact that a lot of Asian people aren't making a lot of money off of us. A lot of Arabic people aren't making a lot of money off of us, whether it's with hair products, alcohol, you know, things of this sort. I'm not speaking against beauty standards or whatever you do to feel good. You know, it's all about keeping a sane mind and understanding and not letting that stuff take over you. But with media, music, and all these other devices that we have, everybody just wants to be lax and basically feel good. But if you feeling good only leads you to being stagnant and not wanting to progress in life because you feel like everything's okay. You know, that's why a lot of people don't want to move out of the hood or speak against anything that's going wrong because one, we don't want to seem uncool, we don't want to change anything, and I guess we don't want nobody, you know, basically, how would you say, debating with us about why is this better, or, you know, what are you gonna do to actually help, especially when we don't have like the resources. So yeah, that's just a little bit of my thought.
I want 3 hot takes, and I want to talk a little bit, touch on Kamala Harris and Donald Trump a little bit. I'm gonna just state my opinion about it, and then how America was built on exploitation, lies, what else? Exploitation, lies, manipulation, a lot of bad stuff, and then also it was Godfrey. Okay, so Godfrey said this about black culture when he went over to a different country. He said, everybody wants to be like the black people, right? That's right. Everybody copies from our culture, from us. And we happily, it's not like you have to come in and take it. We happily giving y'all the game. We embrace other cultures like it's like they're one of us.
Just like Native Americans with Columbus. Columbus. We just let them come on in. No questions asked.
We're God's people. We're pretty much God's people, but and what Godfrey said, the foreigner, when he's in the foreign country, he said that if y'all will stick together, y'all will be a better race, a super race. And maybe that's the issue, but it shouldn't be no excuses why black people are being treated how they are. Well, doesn't matter. But to finish the point, because I don't know how much time I have on my phone to record, about Donald Trump and Kamala Harris.